This is a hugely significant announcement. I think, it's going to bring the UK, it's going to bring England into a real, global race. New Zealand is the first place to have implemented this raise in the age of sale. And so it's a real big development. It's going to be positive for public health. It's going to be positive for society. And I think also worth saying that there's the eye-catching changes the age of sale, but also a doubling in funding for smoking cessation and a doubling, crucially, in funding for enforcement around illicit tobacco. So I think a real package of measures which is going to make a huge difference.
Not everyone is as delighted as you. I mean, it's worth saying there are big consequences for tobacco companies, tobacco businesses, and, of course, many of our pensions. It's worth saying that as well, because this smoking industry has long tentacles all around the world, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that is definitely true. And it's I mean, as you point out, the costs of tobacco to society outweigh what it brings in terms of tax. We know that tobacco smoking is addictive. The majority of smokers want to stop, and so really, I think dealing with this is going to be positive for society.
Probably the most radical smoking policy or anti-smoking policy in the world was, I think, announced by New Zealand. What lessons might other countries learn from New Zealand?
Yeah, I think it's important to say, so New Zealand have proposed a similar policy to the England policy announced yesterday, and that isn't enforced yet, so we can't draw direct lessons from that. But we know sort of globally that when you raise the age of sale, youth smoking goes down. We know in England, when the age of sale went from 16 to 18 years, a 30% reduction in youth smoking. And as I say, we know that smoking is addictive. The majority of people who smoke want to stop. And so, this is really part of a package of measures to deal with this.
All school children are taught about prohibition in the United States, and we all know what happens when you ban stuff in many countries. Isn't the risk here that we're going to see a rise of illegal sales of tobacco? This is simply going to force tobacco underground, isn't it, into black markets?
Yeah, I think it's worth saying that, this is part of a package of measures. There's this increase in enforcement around illicit tobacco. There is going to be an increase in funding to help people quit. And we know, in terms of illegal sales, we know that there have been big cuts in the last decade to trading standards, who do a lot of this enforcement. And so putting money back into that is really going to have the benefit of removing the sort of illicit tobacco on the market while helping people to quit this addictive substance which the majority of people want to stop using.
Anthony, good to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed for coming on the programme. Anthony Laverty, Senior Lecturer in the Public Health Policy Evaluation Unit at Imperial College in London.